Hello, guys, and thank you so much for joining the Seraphic Divine Podcast. Okay, let's get this screen going. It's like, no, I'm playing. So, we are back. Okay, we are back. We are in full effect. I have done the research, and a lot of it was knowledge I had already acquired, but that I was not putting into play, was not putting into motion. Okay. So now we're going to put that into motion. We're going to tie it all in. Okay. So originally we talked about the Sephiroth. We talked about the tree of life. Then we discussed, we went into the Hermetic principles. Okay. And how these Hermetic principles, how they tied into the body, how they tied into the chakras. Okay. So now what we're going to talk about is the Zodiac wheel and the precession. Okay. So when we looked at some of these things, so the precession exact is essentially the sine wave that the earth rotates on. Okay, it's the sine wave that the zodiac exists on. Okay, so this is where you find the axis in which the earth is pointing in direction to that North Star. Okay, or that star that we are meant to receive enlightenment or plasma vibrational frequencies from. Okay, so right now at this point in time, we are on the north axis pointing towards North Star Polaris. Okay, they don't really depict the specifics around Polaris, like what exactly it is supposed to be offering us, because we're in the age of it, we're living it now. So that it is an ascension. We are supposed to be receiving higher frequency waves in order to in order to activate certain aspects of our DNA. But what we don't know is that in order to activate the DNA, in order to activate the star, you have to essentially be at a specific area in the realm on Earth in order to do so. So I did some research and I'm like, okay, so let's take a step back before we get into that. Let's talk about the Zodiac. Okay, so the Zodiac is the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, this is Isis, Ra, and El. So this all has to do with, the higher, this is the Ayin Sof, basically. So the Ayin Sof, the Ayin, and the Ayin Sof or. So this all has to do with the three causal energies that created the zodiac. So the 12 fixed stars, these stars are fixed, okay? And every star is tied into a specific zodiac. So the zodiac, the reason why they have these names is because they represent in some capacity that type of energy. Okay, so like the Leo, it has a figure, it looks like a lion. The star is shaped in the form of a lion face or in a lion's mane. Just like the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper. There are more there are more stars and asteroids out there that they don't necessarily depict because they don't really have, well, we have the information for it, but they feel like it's not causal. Like it doesn't necessarily play a direct role in this realm. Everything matters though. Everything matters. So if we don't acknowledge these stars, which is why we don't have a lot of information on Polaris, if we don't acknowledge these stars, then we don't allow ourselves to activate that energy within us. We only activate that in which we understand and that in which we have comprehension of, that we can, basically what you can fathom. So if you only look at if you only look at your sun sign, like, prime example, most people have no idea they have a rising, a moon, a Mercury. They have no idea that all of this is within them. So when it's time to consider these factors, they don't look into this as to why their life is the way it is. And this is why Spirit has brought me to this, in order to explain it to people so that people can have the understanding that the Hermetic principles applies to us and everything. Everything is connected. There is nothing that is not connected, okay? So when we look at the axis, right now we are in a tilt. The Earth is tilting because it is being forced to go in this direction to essentially connect with in the axis of Aquarius. Whereas if we were to align ourselves in the realm with this specific space, the center point would be in Florida. It would not be the North Pole. It would be in Florida, in order to align with Polaris and receive the activations properly. Okay. So the reason why we're still aligning with that one is because we're worshiping a dead star. Essentially, we're giving our energy to a dead star. So this is why we are feeding the death concept. This is where the Saturn and the death is coming from, because it's a dead star. That energy is no longer, it's dormant. That energy is dormant. So it's not even activated in the higher realms. It's sleeping, basically. It's inactive. So, and it's meant to be at this time because we're supposed to be in a more elevated frequency. And when you are stuck in a satanic or a Saturn, I don't know if it's not Saturnic. That's not a fucking word. Okay, if you are stuck in a at the frequency of Saturn, then essentially you're being forced into structure, into form. You get what I'm saying? So that is why we cannot move into these energies of using our body to maneuver and shift through dimensions, because we are worshiping a dead star. Okay. That energy is gone. That energy has dissipated. It no longer is necessary any longer in this particular age, because in this age, we're supposed to be transcending, but we're not, because we're worshiping a dead star. And so it's keeping us stuck in time loops. This is what Saturn does. Saturn is the god of time. It is an energy of creating structure and form. But right now, we're supposed to be rising, elevating, and ascending. So if we continue to worship Saturn, we're not in alignment. Basically, we're out of alignment. And that's why the Earth is on a tilt, because most people all of the energy is gravitating towards this specific thing, especially with structured religions, with corporations, jobs. These things are meant to be gone. They're no longer meant to be in play. Okay. They're meant to dissipate. Okay. We're supposed to be in the age of Aquarius, and we've been stuck in this particular age for a long ass fucking time. So because we've been dying, when they say the after death of Jesus Christ, they're referencing the death of consciousness. So we have been in a we have lost higher consciousness due to us trying to uphold old values and not moving along with the times. Okay. So once we acknowledge, okay, this the axis is tilting, they say it's been in a precession for a long time. Yes, it has been in a precession. It has been in a tilt for a long time because we have been out of alignment for a long ass time. We have lost consciousness. We have the information has been gatekept. They've been gatekeeping the knowledge. So people have not been able to give energy freely. We have been restricted from using our own energy at our free will. All of it is in control. It's being controlled, it's being manipulated, it's being used for their own benefits. So essentially 12 tribes of Israel, or Israel, is the Zodiac, and it's Isis, Ra, and El. Okay, so then you have these fixed quadrants. Okay, these fixed quadrants that you can see when you look at a map. You can see the concave and the convex. So there's ones going like this, and then there's ones going like that. Right? So that's concave and convex. That's the energy flowing back into each other that comes from Metatron's cube, which would be Earth. Or which is the Sephiroth. So it's comprising all of the planets, because like I told you before, in the Sephiroth, they each have four dimensions in which they exist, but they each have their own planes. They each have their own planes of existence, but they have four dimensions in which these particular planets exist. Okay? So the quadrants are the stars. Okay? The quadrants are the stars that encapsulate these energies, these planes of existence. Okay? So you have these planes of existence. You have Earth, you have the moon, you have Mercury and Venus. Okay, they are on the same plane of existence. Then you have the sun. Then you have Mars and Jupiter. You have Mars and Jupiter that are on the same plane. Then you have Dot, which is Uranus, and it's interchangeable. For some reason, they leave it out a lot out of the Sephiroth. For some reason, I think it's because it is centered around individuality and yourself, who you are as a person. So they don't feel like that's foundation energy, but it is, because Uranus directly correlates to the realm of, freedom, rebellion, Aquarius. So then you have, in the next realm, you have in the next plane, you have Saturn and Neptune. And then at the highest, you have Keter, which is Pluto. Okay. So this is in this energy. This is in the causal, these, not the causal, but more like the energies that exist in this particular encasement. Okay. Because outside of that, then you have the 12 fixed stars. Then you have the Ayin Sof, or the Ayin Sof, and then the Ayin. Okay. So within that, the Zodiac is encapsulating all these planes of existence. Okay, so convex and concave. And with Earth being the final plane, it is the kingdom. And then you have planes that they say exist underneath Earth that are mirroring the same energies above. So as above, so below. So when you have, this is why, but these are like shadow energies. These are energies that are the dark energies. Whereas these energies above are the light energies. So each plane consists of a certain attribute, a certain energy type. And then the shadow energy is below. So when you watch the movie Us, okay, that was by, I forget his name. It's when she goes into the mirror, she sees another version of herself. It's her shadow self. So this is what it's depicting when it's telling you that there are two versions of you. There is a version of you that is of the light. There is a version of you on earth, excuse me, that is duplicitous, that has duality, okay? And then there is a version of you in the shadow realm. So there are essentially three aspects, three versions of you, right? Now there are many pathways, so there are many alternate universes, alternate realities where you, the three-dimensional, you exist, okay? That you can use and you can access through the mind. But this is by, understanding your primal energy first, and then understanding your mental faculties and how, through creation, you have encompassed all of these energies. You either, and some are more pronounced, this is what astrology teaches you. So you have these quadrants, and they call them the archangels. Okay? They call the archangels because these are the angles that compose Earth. Okay? These are the angles that Earth is composed of. And these are the archangels. And then you have, I'm not sure. No, I'm not. Okay. Wait. The archangels are considered to be, the archangels are considered to be the, yes, the quadrants. It's the quadrants. The archangels are considered to be the quadrants. So within those quadrants, there are specific planes of existence. And then within those quadrants, there are degrees. So just like, every month, there's at least 28 to 31 days in each month. Okay. So each quadrant is composed of 30 degrees. So 0 to 30. So there's 3 decans. So there's the first decan that is 0 to 10. And then the second decan is 11 to 20. And then the third decan is 21 to 30. Okay. And these all depict the level of understanding that you have of that specific quadrant, which would be that specific zodiac. And within that, there are also more degrees. So when we look at it from that perspective, and as you can tell, each plane has a specific element, right? So when the way that they use this, the way that they measure this, okay, the sine wave, the way that they measure this is based off of, the seasons. So it starts in Aries and it ends in Capricorn. Okay. So when they say cardinal, that means that it initiates. It's an initiatory element. Sign. It starts something off. It starts off the season. They were using astrology, the stars, the planets, the planes of existence in order to measure the season, in order to understand better how the world or God created this plane of existence. So it starts out with a cardinal energy, then a mutable energy, then a cardinal energy, a fixed energy, then a mutable energy. So if you see you'll see it like, and the sun goes in a wave just like that and repeats in an infinity symbol. It goes like that in an infinity symbol based off of where it starts. So it starts Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer at its peak. Leo is at the very top. Virgo, Libra, right here across from Aries. Then you come down into Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Yeah, so Libra, Sagittarius, Libra and Aries are here. So you have Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces, and back to Aries. Okay, so Pisces and Scorpio are across from each other. Then Aquarius and Sagittarius kind of be across from each other. Then you have Capricorn at the base, because this is when, if you notice in Capricorn, this is when the winter solstice happens, December 21st, when the day is the same time period as the night. So the sun is right at the bottom, like it's literally there, and then it falls for 3 days. Like it basically, the sun is kind of non-existent. It's barely there, and then it rises again, and then it starts to rise again in Aquarius, and then in Pisces season, it's almost at the top, almost right back at the center point, and then Aries, it starts all over again through the cycle. So this is the energy it goes through in order to maintain the realm, because it is the ball of energy. It is a piece of the no thing, which is the emptiness, the void. It is a piece of the no thing. I mean, well, clearly it is a piece of the Iron Self, or the divine light, the divine spark within this actual, I guess you would call this what is it called? I can't. This is not a universe. This is a solar system. This is why they say that this system revolves around the sun. It revolves around the energy of the sun. The sun is what helps to maintain this system, because this is where the divine light exists. Okay, this is where it is in its highest concentration, is in the sun. So it helps to maintain Earth as well as the moon. So because it's been at an axis, the central point has been at an axis, instead of rooting it where it is in the center, they've been allowing the central point to be here in the North Pole, but that's no longer the center of the plane. It now has transitioned to another place. So instead of them moving the axis here and anchoring it in these places, they cannot. This is why they go to war. Because based off of the evidence that I've seen, Israel is one of the places that needs to be anchored. Bali, it needs to be anchored. Peru, and let me see. Okay, it says Peru, Machu Picchu, excuse me, in Peru, Bali, Norway, and Egypt. So there were outside axes that were okay, so it's like the Vesica Pisces changes. The center point, what the hell? The center point changes every time there's a new age. The center point changes. So they have to basically transition the energy and spread it out throughout the plane in order for it to balance, in order to restart, or to, basically activate that particular star. And if they don't, this is why the earth has been in a decline for so long, because people have not been able to access the higher consciousness. So we're in the age of Aquarius, which is in the back here, which is back here. Okay, because Aries starts the sine wave, Aquarius is back here, but it's in a quadrant. Okay, it's in a quadrant. So it's back here in this quadrant. And at the end of the day, that's what's making it tilt, because it needs to be realigned. The central point needs to be realigned in order for it to be specifically the energy to be powered up in the plane of existence and for it to shift properly. You get what I'm saying? In order for it to shift and for that energy to root into this realm. This is why they keep talking about a new earth. This is why they keep referencing this new earth philosophy, because there will be a new earth and everybody won't be able to exist on it because there will be a rise in consciousness. Because Aquarius is all about, independence and progressiveness and moving into a technologically advanced future. So this is why they've been keeping us at bay in this particular energy, because a lot of them won't be able to rise in consciousness because they have to transmute a lot of negative energy that they've been perpetuating for a long ass fucking time. So when we look at it, we have to analyze this properly. Like, Aquarius is all about individuality, but for the greater good of humanity. So you being the best version of yourself so that you can play an active role in the betterment of society. And that is what's needed right now. And that's what they're trying to block. Okay? They're trying to block everyone from accessing that energy, from understanding that we all play an active role as one collective consciousness in order to shift the tides and to hone in a brand new age. You cannot do these ages theoretically, they're happening, but if the energy is not brought down into this realm, it doesn't matter. It will so basically what tries to happen with the no thing, God, whatever you want to call it, it's nameless, okay, because it's voidless. It's nothing. So the creator, essentially, what it will try to do is keep continuing to fix the realm because it's affecting the higher realms. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if this realm is stagnating, it's not moving, it's not flowing properly, it's fucking up the macro. It's affecting everything. Everything is being affected by this energy. So this is why the no thing keeps sending beings down, keeps creating a dynamic where higher developed beings can come into this realm by way of the North Star in order to transmute the energy here on this realm and affect the time and the axis, because the axis is not meant to be in that place. It's meant to be in the center. So as the planes shift, there will be a shift. There probably will be a shift in, because if you can tell, the plates have been shifting consistently through ages, the plates. So basically the territory, the land masses have been shifting through ages because you have to shift the energy around in order to align it properly in the right way. But when it's misaligned, it's affecting the way that the energy draws, the way that the energy is being pulled down into this realm. So I believe that if everybody can get on task and come into some level of comprehension around the Zodiac and around astrology, and understand that this is God's will. Like, the astrology is literally you taking the time out. Okay, most people feel like astronomy is a specialty. Like, you have to specialize in that. But it's honestly just you being willing to learn something beyond what you're being taught. So it's you actually saying, okay, let me go and read a fucking book about astrology. Let me go and figure out what are these. Okay, there's 12 zodiacs. Okay, so we know that correlates to the months. So each month is tied into some zodiac, some quadrant, right? And then there's 7 planets. So that means that there are specific planets that share energies. So Mercury, Gemini and Virgo share Mercury. Saturn belongs to Capricorn, but it also is shared with Aquarius, where Aquarius has that grounding and that structural energy, but it also has that free spirit, free-willed energy. So it's like a dual energy, essentially. Venus shares energy. Venus shares energy with Libra and Taurus. Okay, so there are, I'm not mistaken, those are the only ones that share. Yes. So there's essentially 3 planets that share energy with other zodiacs. And so they're 2 different aspects of that planet too, of that plane of existence as well. And that's how you know there's more to express in those planets, in those planes of existence, than just one particular thing. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of shit. It's comprised of a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and there's also shadow energy to it as well. So, until you actually take the time out to figure out your specific purpose or what is in alignment with you, it's going to be very hard for you to really play your role in the progression of us getting back in alignment in this realm. Like, there's energy. It was something I was listening to before. It's around Rudolf Steiner. It's theosophy, and it discusses how certain planets go into a dormant state. Okay, so when they go dormant, which I believe is to be true, like, because even when you look at it, like when they go in retrograde, to some capacity, it's in its shadow energy. So if you're in a retrograde space, you as a person, essentially you're either going backwards or you're asleep. You know what I'm saying? So you could access different dimensions or different timelines when you're sleeping. You can access many things. You can speak to different versions of yourself, different energies, different entities. And even in these planes of existence, they, like if you have ever practiced magic, there are like the keys of Solomon. There are lesser keys and there are, higher keys of Solomon. Basically, expressing to you that within each plane of existence, there's also, certain elements or certain frequencies and vibrations that you have to resonate at in order to tap into these lesser or higher keys of Solomon. And that is the degrees. Those are the deacons. That's what that's expressing. So like, let's say that you were born as like, okay, let me look at my chart. Okay. So I have an app that I downloaded that basically tells me where all my planets, where their positioning was when I came into this world. So based off of the time I was born. Okay. So they don't really be off. This is why they give you this live birth certificate, because they're giving you access to this information, but they know that a lot of people don't have all the information in order to really make a shift or to make a change at any point in the actual crook of things. So they're like, we'll give them bits and pieces, but shit, they're not going to do them. They're not going to do nothing for real. So, my sun is Leo at 24 degrees. Okay. So this is also why longitude and latitude play a role and the degree that comes along with it. They don't tell you this, but it also correlates. They just tell you that because it has to do with mapping, mapping services. Like, oh, okay, well, if you want to get to LA, go to 166 degrees this way, that way, boom, you there. Okay. But this actually has to do with the stars. This is where they got this information from. Okay, they got it from the stars. They got it from correlating the zodiac and the planes of existence into where we are now, this particular round. Okay, and what quadrant you were in, what degree placement it was at, what, and also something else to look at is that even in the degree placement, there is a correlating zodiac sign that basically rules that degree placement. So there's an underlying energy behind the degree placement as well, which is what I was basically about to say. So my sun is Leo at 24 degrees. So let me see. 24 degrees Zodiac. Okay. So they're saying that the 24th degree in astrology has to do with the zodiac sign of Pisces, because as we know, that is one of the further signs away from the sun. So it says if you have your sun, which I do, my Leo sun, at the 24th degree in your natal chart, it says that the sun or the solar qualities of this person are shining their light, having a center stage position like the sun has in our solar system, achievements, and it also is the main career indicator. So having the sun at the 24th degree is great for all Pisces ruled careers, not only for working in the movie industry, but to be a creative writer, healer of sorts, or working in an isolated place such as a hospital, prison, dormitory, ashram. Okay, so a healer of sorts, meaning to take center stage. If you notice, I'm trying to heal this realm by essentially giving out knowledge. I'm trying to heal people spiritually by giving them access to knowledge that will change their life forever, that will give them the freedom to live in a position where they're actually fulfilling their soul purpose, their life purpose, their career purpose, that they're content, they're in a good place, okay? With just this common knowledge. This is common knowledge. Anybody can absolutely tap into this and see, okay, this is what this correlates to, but it's really hard putting it together if your mind has difficulty in retaining information, or using the right knowing what information to use, like picking and choosing the right information, essentially. But the degree placements matter. Okay, so let's go to another one. Let's use another one of mine that we can look at to show you that the degrees change. Okay, so let's look at my Saturn. No, my Saturn's retrograde, so let's not do that because it's not going to give us a precise understanding of it. So let's look at Jupiter. Okay, my Jupiter is in Cancer at 29 degrees. So that means that in some capacity, I have mastered that degree placement. That is a sign when your degree placements are above 20 and going into 30s, that is a sign of mastery. 29, 29th degree in astrology. See? Okay, so like I was saying, okay, so the 29th degree is the last degree. This means that in this incarnation, you are completing some important phase in regards to planet. You are bringing to conclusion something started in a past life, so the events of this planet will be more fated and predetermined because of your past life actions. Okay, so let's see what Mercury Mercury is at, oh, excuse me, what is the 29th degree? No, this is good information, but this is not what I wanted to know what planet. Scorpio. And as we said, Pluto is at the head, okay? So Pluto is the 29th degree. The 29th degree is the degree of crisis in the sign of crisis. But also this degree has the power to transform everything with the highest spiritual energy. Okay. So now we can go back to what I was looking at before so that we can read what does it mean when it's in Jupiter. Okay, so okay, so it just popped up. This is how you know I'm being guided. Okay, because it just popped up. It just started telling me about Jupiter. Okay, so when you have Jupiter in your natal, when you have your Jupiter at to 29th degree, it indicates that you are maturing in your Jupiter cycle and learning important spiritual lessons in this lifetime. Okay, it says indicates either overcompensating this planet or not acknowledging it. Okay, and it says that you are completing an important phase in your life that's connected to that planet or degree. It says Jupiter is the planet of optimism and expansion. So having Jupiter at 29 degrees can show someone who needs to learn everything. Let's keep going. I don't know what the heck that was. Sorry, guys. Okay, so having Jupiter is the planet of optimism and expansion. So having Jupiter at the 29th degrees can show someone who needs to learn everything in moderation. They can go overboard with everything or be stingy. You need to explore and expand your world and experience life as it should be experienced. So this is what I'm saying. Having my Jupiter in Cancer at 29 degrees means that, so my Jupiter is in my 11th house. So and also houses are very important. Okay, so I call them quadrant, but they're essentially houses. They're the houses in which these zodiac elements live. So you have the first house, which is Aries, the second house, which is Taurus, the third house, which is Gemini, the fourth house, which is Cancer, excuse me, what the hell? The fifth house, which is Leo, the sixth house is Virgo, the seventh house is Libra, the eighth house is Scorpio, the ninth house is Sagittarius, the 10th house is Capricorn, the 11th house is Aquarius, and the 12th house is Pisces. Okay, so for me, my Jupiter and my Sun are in the 11th house. They are in an Aquarius house carrying two different degrees of energy. So one carries an energy of Scorpio, one carries an energy of the degree placement. It's in Scorpio for the 29th degree in Scorpio for my Jupiter in Cancer in my 11th house, which is an Aquarius energy. And then my Sun is in Leo in my 11th house at the 24th degree, which is a Pisces energy. So a lot of my energy, a lot of the degree placements, like the angles, okay, in which this energy is manifesting at, which it manifested at, is in water placements, in an air sign, in a water placement, Cancer, as well as a fire placement, Leo, which also has to do. So my sun is in fire. So it's at home, basically. My sun is at home in Leo. My Jupiter is it's in an exalted place, meaning that it functions highly in that place as well. But Jupiter is tied to Sagittarius. So that's an energy that's centered around kindness, mercy, right? And excuse me, the moon is centered around foundation. Okay. This is the Yesod. When you look at the moon, when you think about it from the energy it's carrying, the energy it's helping to mold and create the foundation of this plane. Okay. So all of that tied into one, my sun is basically helping me to, my sun sign is in Leo. We all know that Leos like to be center stage. They like to, basically step into attention. In their highest form, they know how to harness attention, basically. Like, nobody likes to look at the sun, but everybody looks at the sun. Like, everybody has to look at the sun. Like, you're like, damn, look at the sun, man, that shit's shining bright. But most people tell you not to look at the sun because the sun can burn your eyes out, or because it's blinding. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people have a love and hate relationship with Leos, because we naturally draw in attention. Attention naturally gravitates to us because that's our aura. That's what we carry. That's the energy that we embody in our highest form. And then it being in 11th house means that I have the ability to attract friendships really well. Like, I can draw in good quality friends. Like, that is one of my best, qualities, is that I know how to draw in a crowd. I know how to appease the crowd. I know how to network. I know I have social dexterity. I know how to go into a crowd and connect with every piece of someone. And that also can play into the fact that I'm in a high degree of my sign, of my sun sign. So I understand that energy. I know how to use that energy to my benefit, not to, I know how to use that energy, period. Like, it can be to my benefit or my detriment, but I know how to use that energy because I have a conscious understanding of it coming into this realm at the 24th degree in the third decan, meaning that I'm in one of the more, I wouldn't say higher decans, but I'm in one of the, I'm in like the last phase of it. So I understand how to use this energy. I'm very well equipped with the knowledge around using my Leo, my gravitational pull to attract people to me. I know what to do in order to do that. Like, I can use my personality. Some people I might have to bring out more of my personality. Some people I could just be beautiful and people will fuck with me. And then you have other people where you have to actually use your mind. And that's where my Mercury comes into play. So my Mercury is intellect. Okay, so my Mercury is in the 12th house in Virgo, is in the 12th house in Virgo at 20 degrees. So I'm not sure if that's in the first, let me see. Let's make sure we're getting the decans right. Yeah, okay, I was right. So approximately the first 10 days of your sign is the first decan. So I'm in the second decan when it comes to, no, excuse me. I'm in the third decan. when it comes to my Mercury. And they all have their own signs. I mean, their own names. I did not know that. I had no idea they had their own names, but this is probably where the oh, isn't this something? Okay, so yeah, this is where the North Star comes into play. So we have the fixed stars, then we have the deacons that correlate to the smaller stars. So we have Ursa Major, Canis Major, Ursa Major, excuse me, Ursa Minor, Canis Minor. Okay, yeah. So now we see how this all comes into play. So right now, the North Star Polaris. So let's look at that. That would be good to discuss. The Polaris star is in but where is it? It's in Ursae Minor. Okay, and we know that it's sitting at what decan is it sitting at? It's near Cephas. Okay, so let's look and see. So it's in Ursae Minor, close to Cephas. It's kind of like in the Andromeda. So it's in Pisces energy. It's still in that Pisces energy. As we are leaving it, we'll begin to leave this energy shortly. The axis will begin to turn out of the age of Pisces into closer into the age of Aquarius. Okay, now it's all making sense. Now it's all coming together. So these smaller stars, these like we see, what is it, Draco? Because we know the Big Dipper is in Ursa Major, and then we have Ursa Minor. Let me see something. Okay, Ursa Major is the Big Dipper. And then Ursa Minor is the Little Dipper. But yes, so when we look at these degree placement, yes, okay, so 0 to 10 is the first set of degrees, then 10 to 20 is the second set of degrees, and then we have 20 to 30 is the third set. So that's the third decan. And there is a wheel. So there's a wheel specifically that shows us where exactly what decans it falls into based off of where the point is. Excuse me. So it looks like this. This is the astrological wheel. So this is the same wheel that they talk about in like the card, the Wheel of Fortune. It's the same thing. Okay. Ooh. Did I just show y'all my birth time? Whatever, because you can't. I rebuke all negative energy, baby. You can't touch me, okay? It don't matter anyway. So, but yeah, so my Mercury is in Virgo in the 20th degree. So it's in the third decan. So in that decan, and they have lines that show you where the decan split. So you can look here, you see the lines. You see the lines 1, 2. So there the decan starts at the beginning. This is the beginning of it. This is the beginning, like as it transitions, because we start from here, 1, and then you go to 2 and 3, 4. So it'll tell you where it starts, where the sign starts and where it ends. So this is the 10th. This is the beginning of the 12th house. This would be the first decan, the second decan, and the third decan coming closer to the first house. My decans are off center because we have slippage. So I came in right on the slippage, okay, right when it was at a slippage. So my decan, my first house is technically pushed back. It's not right on the line of it's not right on the line of the Virgo zodiac. It's back. It's back some. So I would say it's back about 5 degrees. It's like 5-6 degrees off. So my ascendant is in my rising is in my first house, but it's not at the line. It's at a specific decan, basically. But it came in the third decan. I came in the third decan of Virgo, where my ascendant is also in the third decan of Virgo. It's on the 20th axis. So within that, based off of the chart that I have in front of me, it says that I came in because I came in when essentially we were, it was almost, I came in when Mercury was when the sun was hitting Mercury, basically, when the sun was hitting Mercury's sign. I didn't come in when the sun was hitting Aries. I came in when the sun was hitting Mercury. So, but because it's in the 12th house, remember, the decans go based off of the 12th house. It's just the zodiac changed based off of where the sun was when I came into the realm. So the decan is essentially in the 12th house at 20. So it would be in Cassiopeia. So let's go down to Cassiopeia, which is a Pisces decan. So this decan strengthens, and it's in Pisces house. So clearly that's why it's relevant to understand that. This decan strengthens and protects Pisces with a large measure of survival power. Not so likely to be a victim savior, less retreating, more independent and adventurous, most active. So if I was which is, this one is more tied into Scorpio. So a lot of my placements have Scorpionic degrees. So I have a lot of the degree placements that I have directly assist me in being transformational, like being strong, with withstanding, the pressures of the world. And so my mental faculties are a lot stronger than someone else's would be, because I have the ability, I have a very high survival power. Okay. I have a very high survival power. I understand, I don't have a victim savior complex. Like, I don't try to save people that don't want to be saved. And I don't put myself in a position where I'm a victim. I never do that. And I don't go and recluse as much, because in all honesty, I understand that I have a purpose. Like I said, in my Leo, in the Aquarius house, it's in the 20 degrees. So this is a Libra thing. So the Venus Libra Deacon enhances Aquarius with social desires, creativity, and sensual expression. Aspects between Uranus and Venus bring freedom, closeness, paradox, humanitarian. So I am very much into the element of this is so amazing. I didn't think we would get into this, but we got into more stuff than I thought we would get into. But it's intriguing to understand this from that perspective, to not just look at it from a house perspective and the zodiac perspective, like the sign in the house, because that plays a role, believe me. But to also look at the deacon, it gives you more in-depth analysis. And then they also have shadow side of the deacon too. So that's very important. I've learned a lot about the shadow side because at that time I was transmuting shadow energy. So I was like, I need to figure out, what am I doing wrong? Okay. What am I doing wrong in this world and how can I change? And now I'm learning more about the positive attributes that I can contribute or, give back into this world, as opposed to constantly staying in that negative energy, because I already transmuted that. Like, we constantly are in a state of transmutation, but the more we focus on our positive attributes and give into those energies, the more we start to acknowledge that this is something I need to heal, something I need to overcome, something I need to transmute, because that is an aspect of me that is of the low vibrational nature. And if I hold on to it, baby, I ain't gonna get nowhere. I ain't gonna be able to fulfill my life purpose. I'm not gonna find happiness. Like, I see so many people now that we're going into the age of Aquarius, trying to tap into the understanding of, okay, what do I gotta do to be happy? Because I'm not fucking happy. A lot of people are not happy living that mundane 9 to 5, work like a slave, be a fucking dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, fall to the feet of the man every opportunity. People are starting to get to a place where they're like, I need to be myself. I need to find myself. And so I'm going to tap more into this energy. I'm going to get more into astrology. Okay. We're going to probably go more in depth in the next podcast, in the next episode, with discussing the houses, the placements, basically, just giving more information around the house, how the first house, second house, third house, fourth house, you know what I'm saying? Giving a little bit more information around the sun, the moon, Neptune, Uranus, what attributes these signs have, what they, just getting a little bit more in depth. That's it. And then we'll start. And if people want me to read their charts, we can try to dig into it. We can get into it. I feel like that's a very good way to start learning how to read your astrological chart, is maybe someone helping you to learn your chart, someone helping you to tap into it, and you also understanding it for yourself. So that's why I'm going to break all of this shit down. We're going to get to the nitty gritty, because we also have to then look into aspects. So like conjunctions, sextiles, quadruple, some shit like that. And then what is this? Stelliums, all types. It's a lot of stuff happening, baby. And astrology is going to guide you and lead the way. Trines, a lot of different shit happening. So we're going to get into it, baby. We're going to get into it, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. And I'm going to come back on the next episode with more knowledge. Okay. I love you guys. I'm sending you peace, prosperity, understanding, love, and protection. Okay. And blessings. Okay. Love yourself. All right. Put yourself first. And then that way you can give to others. Fill your cup. I don't know who needed to hear this. Fill your cup. That way you can pour into others. Okay. Mwah.